Put a little bit of the rub, nigga, I gotta be safe.
Let's get to sports talk.
And you guys will tell us to either book it or forget it. All right, number one, Stephen A. Smith, Steelers will upset the Ravens. Book it or forget it?
Forget it. Did the Steelers. I mean, I understand that the Ravens have been struggling, but you can't convince me that Mason Rudolph is going to beat the Baltimore Ravens, particularly after the stinker that Baltimore recorded last week. They'll have vengeance on their mind or whatever, and they'll have an attitude.
Yeah, 100% agree. Forget it. Steelers don't have the athleticism that Cleveland has at the skill positions to go ahead and pull off this upset. Watching this man, Lamar Jackson, he's going to run for 100 yards. Forget it.
Forget it. First of all, I didn't know it was possible to average 3.
You can't go off the win against Cincinnati. Like, this team was all over the place. They number one wide receiver haven't shown that he could be the number one option so far. He's been struggling since game one. He having a hard time to being the number one wide receiver because he's so used to being the number two. Now when you become a number one wide receiver, it's tough because all the spotlight is on you. And haven't figured that out already. And then Connor ain't having the season so far that he had last year. And he not doing so well himself. Like, you can't take anything away from the Cincinnati game. That was an easy game for them. Now they got to play a team that's on a different level. Even though they've been struggling, they going to get back to winning against Pittsburgh. It's just like Pittsburgh still got some things to figure out. Is Juju going to be a number one, or are you going to go get you another one to be number one? Because he haven't shown that so far. It's tough to be a number one when you was just a number two last year. When you come to the guy, it's all the pressure on you. And it's tough when you're in a new space of being a number one wide receiver.
3.5 yards per attempt through the air. Like, how does that even work? How did Mason Rudolph? That's amazing when you think about it. 3.5 yards. Go from here to the monitor. I mean, like, in the NFL, and then the Ravens, just because the Browns did that to Baltimore does not mean that that's easy to do to Baltimore. The Browns are loaded. Forget this one.
All right, book it or forget it. Max, your guy, Daniel Jones, will remain unbeaten as a starter.
Forget it. Daniel Jones is the truth, but he's still a rookie. He's still learning. He's still going to make mistakes, and I like the mistakes he's making. Like, take chances sometimes. Those are good mistakes for a young guy to make. But the real issue is the Giants' defense. Kirk Cousins is about to look real good. The Giants can't get any pressure on the quarterback. They can't cover anyone. And the one spot where you go, oh, they got a guy in the linebacking core. Connolly's on, done for the season. So they have problems all three levels of the defense. They still got the receivers in Minnesota. They still got the guy who can run the ball. Kirk Cousins is going to look real good against the Giants.
Yeah, it stinks for Daniel Jones. This loss is going to have nothing to do with Daniel Jones. It's everything about the Vikings defense, everything about the Giants' lack of defense. I mean, there's no way for Daniel Jones to win this game. Vikings are...
If Cousins don't have a good game against this defense, it's showing you a waste of money. $28 million is too much money for you not to be playing at a level they paid you. If you not going to play well against this defense, there's some issues in that organization they got to figure out. Because they still have a rookie quarterback that's showing he's going to be a good quarterback for years to come, but he doesn't have the defense to help him out. But if Kirk Cousins can't move the football against this defense, they have to question some things and figure out what's next. Because he haven't played well so far. If he can't do nothing against this defense right here, you're going to sit down and talk to him. Or something, like figure out if we're going to let him go or let him walk. Because he should have a good game.
Clearly a better team.
I say book it. because I think the players have given up on Cousins. And I think that's going to have a contaminating and contagious effect. And as a result, the Giants will find a way to win at MetLife Stadium.
But what about that awesome defense for the Vikings?
Well, again,
what about the rush game for the Vikings?
If you're on the field too much, because your offense is giving up on its quarterback, I'm just busy. I know the Minnesota Vikings are a better team because of their defense, but I think collectively they've given up on Cousins, and it's going to have contamination.
You know what's crazy about the Giants? The one bright spot this year, after years and years and years of it being just awful, is the offensive line. The Giants actually do a pretty good job protecting.
Yeah, they just stink everywhere else.
Right.
All right, guys, I have one for the defensive mind over there. Jonathan, for you.
Okay.
Patriots have the best defense in the NFL. Book it or forget it.
Oh, you got to book it. The Patriots have the best defense for two reasons. One, statistically, they're the best defense. Two, they do the most important thing better than anyone right now in the NFL, and that is getting your offense the ball back, right? I don't care to be on the...
Yeah, because it had some good pickups. Like, for get Bennett and get Collins to come back over there. It made the defense much tougher now. Then they got a defensive-minded coach in Belichick. And he never put some things together to stop you from scoring and slow you down. He showed that in the Super Bowl. Because the Rams was a high-packed offense. And he shut that down because he had a defensive mind and now put the players in the right position. And once they get Hightower back, the defense is going to be more dangerous coming up. It's just like, it's only a handful of teams probably can figure out how to get past this defense. But having a defensive-minded coach that know what he's doing and now to put you in the right position to stop good offense, yeah, you can bug it.
On the field for 15 minutes and no one scores. I'd rather get a turnover real quick and get it back to my offense, and that's what the Patriots do at an alarming rate. It is ridiculous. Now, granted, the teams they played aren't that good, but the fact that they're still creating those takeaways, best defense.
I say forget it. And the reason I say forget it is because of that last point you just made. 3 of their 4 games was against the Jets, the Miami Dolphins, and the Buffalo Bills. Offensively, Buffalo Bills are big time defensively, but offensively, please. I look at the Chicago Bears as having the best defense led by Khalil Mack, the Mack Daddy, and that linebacking crew and that secondary crew in Chicago. To me, they have the best defense in the NFL. I'm going to forget that.
Chicago's going to be the pick of people based on the brand names and based on the fact that they have a guy. There's something about a defensive team with a guy who gets the quarterback, who makes you feel different about the defense than a defensive team where the best player's covering a receiver, right? Gilmore's actually the best corner in the league. I know Ramsey gets a lot of credit, but he's the best, and Belichick's putting them in great positions. The Patriots' defense so far has been the best in football, including the Bears, I think, clearly. Book it.
Stephen A. Smith, since you brought up Khalil Mack, this next one for you. Khalil Mack will have at least 2 sacks versus the Raiders. Book it or forget it.
Book it. It's the Raiders, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, it's the same organization that let him go instead of taking care of him. And by the way, John Gruden, could you please keep your mouth shut? Talk about you never want to let him go. Stop lying to the American people. You're the $100 million man. You're in complete control of football.
He lied about that. He didn't want the Raiders to pay him that amount of money, which they should. Because it helped their defense be much better if they would have gave him that money. But Gruden ain't want to give Mac that money, so the Bears offered him that much money. He showed why he deserved that amount of money. He's going to come out strong against his old team because he's going to show you what you're missing and show you why you let me go. And knowing I could lead his defense and help this team win games. And that's why Chicago on another level, because the present he brought to that defense and changed it. It made everybody around him better because the present he brings that determine bring the best out of your defense. And the Raiders shouldn't have let him go in the first place. They make too many mistakes and they got to make up for it. They got some young, good defensive players on that side of football in Oakland, but it's going to be a while before they take off. But they should have kept Mac there, and the defense would have been on a different level. And you see the changes he did for the Bears defense that was okay. Then he came there and elevated everybody there and turned it to a great defense.
How the hell did you want to keep him, but he's gone? Stop lying, okay? Khalil Mack, the only thing that I regret about this game, the NFL really, really dropped the ball by not making sure this game was in Oakland, because Khalil Mack won't be back probably for his career. This was the one chance to be in Oakland and terrorize them on his former home turf. But I'm going to book that he's going to have 2 sacks. He's going to take it out in the Raiders.
Yeah, enough said. I'll book it.
I'm going to forget it, not because he won't have a good game, but because they're going to pay a lot of attention to him. And 2 sacks is not easy to get, you know? And I'll say this about Gruden and the Raiders. They'll go for talent when it's at a discount, even if it's a character issue. If you have a chance to scoop Vontaze Burfict up because he's a distressed asset, or Antonio Brown, you'll do it. That didn't work out, right? When they had the high talent guys that they could get a good return in draft picks for, they got rid of them, because nothing about the Raiders is for right now. It's all about Vegas. And anything good that happens, that's like gravy. So I understand what you guys are saying. I'll say forget it, because they will be paying a lot of attention to Khalil Mack, who they should not have let go.
Book it or forget it. Max, Kyler Murray will get his first career win versus the Bengals.
Yeah, sure, why not? Book it. The Bengals have been real bad. I'm surprised by how bad they were, because I thought Andy Dalton looked really, really good week 1. He was like a big surprise to me week 1. But when you start going over the bad teams in the NFL, we start with the Dolphins, and then we start to look at Washington and Cincinnati, and Kyler Murray has shown some fight in spots. And obvious talent, I'll say he's not going to go winless. Book it.
I'll book it, and the reason why I'll book it is because Cincinnati's awful. Zach Taylor looks in over his head. Now, that does not say he's not going to be a good coach down the line, but right now, watching him on Monday Night Football, he looked like, he looked like.
Have a point. Haven't figured it out yet. Defense look like they give up every time. It don't look the same. Like, they haven't figured out anything from last year. Like, they wanted Marvin gone. They haven't gone now. Y'all have a young coach now, and y'all still haven't improved. Y'all still playing like last year. Haven't improved anywhere. Too many injuries. Don't figure out who really want to play. It's like they showing up for paychecks. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Cincinnati fan, but they still haven't figured it out. Like, I have a new coach now. Ain't no more excuses. It's like players give up on their team.
Out of place. He didn't look like he belonged. And their offensive line is horrid. I know Pro Football Focus had the Los Angeles Rams as having the worst offensive line in football. They didn't look that way last night against Seattle. If you watch Cincinnati giving up 8 sacks on Monday night to Andy Dalton, and you saw Andy Dalton's frustration, it's because how awful they were up front. Cincinnati is not a good team. I think Kyler Murray, you can book this.
I 100% agree. Book it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis,